Hi, on today's episode, we talk about Trump ratcheting up the use of the military in American cities, the latest language that makes a lot of us enemies of the state, and the Comey indictment. Also, like and subscribe. It really helps us. Hi, hello, welcome back to Even More News, the originally news podcast. Hey, I'm Katy.
Hi, Katy. Is it spooky?
Not quite.
You were trying to be spooky, but it's not. I was like, oh, well, this will come out on the 1st of October, but it won't.
It won't. I was wrong, but also everything is very spooky. What was your name again?
Oh, Cody.
Cody, that's right.
Yes.
That's it. Also,
What?
Jonathan
Who?
is also here. I messed that up, but
Oh.
we're going to go with it.
You can go with two alsos. I think that's fine.
Anywho, what happened this weekend?
Nothing. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank God. I needed that break.
Bye.
Yeah, we're going to get to some of the stuff Trump got up to and then the Comey thing that happened
What are
after
his
we recorded.
hijinks?
On Thursday, we do want to start by briefly talking about the two of the mass shootings that took place this weekend. They aren't connected, but they were both carried out by 40-year-old Iraq war veterans, which might not mean anything and might mean quite a bit when you think about it. So the first one was in North Carolina. On Saturday night, a Marine veteran pulled up by boat to a waterfront bar and opened fire, killing 3 people and injuring 8 others. And then in Michigan on Sunday morning, a man drove his vehicle into a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Michigan and killed 4 people, some with guns and some with fire, because he set the church on fire.
It's horrific.
Yeah, the motives, we don't know. The guy who drove to the church had a couple of American flags standing up in the trunk bed, and there's photos of him from years ago with a Trump shirt on, but
Cry libs kind of shirts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Vance signs and all that.
So typical leftist.
But it certainly seems to be a targeted attack on a Mormon church. As Donald Trump put it in his Truth Social, this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America, which is true, but it's unsettling that he put it that way.
Well, I guess we'll get to the context of why that's particularly chilling now or later. I don't even know.
We can talk about that right now.
We repeat ourselves a lot on this show on a lot of different topics because it keeps happening.
We repeat ourselves a lot on this show on a lot of different topics.
Right.
It keeps
I agree with
happening.
you completely.
I agree with you completely.
God, what a good point.
That's a
I
good
agree
point.
with you
That's a good-
completely.
I agree with you completely.
Always want to create space for the fact that this is a horror and the damage that's done to us collectively watching this happen more and more often and feeling powerless at how, first off, to stop the violence, second, to the fear of like, please God, don't let this be somebody that can continue the uproar and the fervor of it's the left. Honestly, the realization that it doesn't matter who they are, it's going to continue the targeting of the left, and the lives that are lost and the terrorism of wanting to go about your life, go to church, go out to dinner, and not knowing what might happen. There's so much to talk about outside of this, but I think that first and foremost needs to be acknowledged that we are all experiencing this, and it is existentially terrifying.
Thank you for saying that, Katy. Thank you, though, for saying that, Katy, because it is like every single time. It's like, oh, yeah, a church. Oh, a movie theater. Oh, school. Oh, it's...
We become desensitized to this. This is human life. I'm just as upset. I'm sick about it.
Yeah. Notably, the reaction wasn't this big fervor of we have to designate a certain type of person as a terrorist and then go after everybody who talks somewhat similarly or is in any way identifying similarly as the person. I don't know why. I feel like after a weekend like this, we should ban J.D. Vance's from holding office and owning guns and stuff. If we're, you're right, 40-year-old Iraq vet,
If we're profiling people,
Trump fan, seems like maybe we shouldn't let JD Vance do anything anymore.
you're out of line, Cody.
Put him on the list of designated terrorist groups.
I think there's such a deep cynicism from them, because if there's one thing we know about America, there's going to be more mass shootings, and it's just part of the plan. You know, if they had a PowerPoint of the plan, it would say like, well, when a mass shooting happens, you use it to point the finger at these people and say there's targeted attacks against these following groups that we have designated as protected groups committed by the out groups, which is what's connected. And we'll talk about this NSPM, the National Presidential Security Memorandum in his executive order, which kind of details out, here are the in groups, here are the out groups, and here's what's going to be designated as left-wing domestic terrorism, which includes everything from anti-capitalism to hostility towards people who hold traditional views of family and religion.
It's wild. The list of...
I mean, I guess I'm a terrorist.
The list is wild. I like it. It's so broad and vague. Obviously, to your point, it is broad and vague so that they can apply it to literally anybody. They can retroactively apply it if anything happens. They're like, anti this one. It's just so they can point to it after the fact, before the fact, whatever. It doesn't matter, really.
Donald Trump winning the election and all this fear mongering about immigrants. And they're like, we're only going to get rid of the criminals, the violent criminals. And we're like, define it. What do you mean by that? And it turns out it didn't mean criminals. It didn't mean violent offenders. It meant people. It meant people. People with applying for their green cards, married to U.S. citizens. More of those being deported.
People showing up for court.
But I digress. I'm trying to underscore how terrifying this is, the general vagueness. That could be anything. That could be anybody. Anybody. Mm-hmm. Your tweet, it depends on how hard they want to go. We should all be chilled to our core.
Here's I can go through the list really quick. The executive order is talking about violent anti-fascism conduct, and they go out of their way to say like it's an anti-fascist lie. They're just saying it's fascist because we're doing border security, blah, blah, blah. Then common threads animating this violent conduct include anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, race, and gender, that's vague, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality.
This is so anti-American to me.
Could be. Yeah.
Should be to all of us, but this is
terrorists.
The quintessentially. Well, also, America is supposed to be a melting pot of people, of opinions, of religions. What is a traditional American morality? What is it? What?
We all know
Christianity.
Though,
we all know.
Yeah, they're putting. It's not just an official state religion. There's this official state morality now. I'm very interested that they put support for the overthrow of the United States government on here because,
right, fascinating.
In my point of view, there's only one group that's
example of that
been up for that in the last several years.
Well, they get pardoned. This is a list of people he'll pardon eventually if they wear the right hat. Yeah, it's I mean, even like extremism on migration. Do you mean like if we think that people should be able to migrate here, or like immigration is good, that's extremism to them?
It means if you're protesting at an ICE facility.
Right. Is it extremism on race? Is it like all the stuff that they're getting rid of at the Smithsonian? Is that the extremism stuff? Is it like acknowledging slavery? Is it like thinking that is it like DEI extremism to them on race? Like what is... I know I'm asking because there is no answer, but it's just like this list sucks.
Well, yeah, they're throwing out rhetorical nonsense there as well. And I assume what they mean as extremism on migration is just if you support the like Democrats' bland and decidedly Republican border policy that they tried to pass.
Well, to them, it's open borders, right?
The
thing you're referring to in their mind is open borders.
Exactly. didn't matter that you actually kind of did what they wanted. That's not the point. And like Democrats don't get that. They still don't get that. That's not the point, is to actually like implement a policy. It's just domination, make you look bad by domination.
One party rule is what they are wanting and basically describing all the time. It's why they claim that that's what the Democrats want. It's all projection every single time. This is a very, very clear goal that they have. And I boo to the list. I'd like to say, I guess, that at least we do have a really strongly anti-war, anti-interventionist, non-fascist president who is sending his Secretary of War into, quote, war-ravaged American cities.
We're going to talk about that. It still shocks me. Department of War? The Secretary of War? What the fuck?
Is his Warrior Ethos pep rally happening today?
That's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Folks,
the day
check it
this
out.
comes out, Trump is going to speak there as well. And it's going to be, a Warrior Ethos pep rally, and then potential like, hey, so what do you guys think if we ask you to shoot Americans? Right? They're going to pepper that in there. Right?
They are the reason this is happening now. Again, I was being...
Wait, set this up. You're saying it funny, but in case people haven't heard about what this is.
I mean, hey, so Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, which they renamed
not
performatively.
Officially, just
Not officially, just performatively. He called all the generals in the world for this emergency podcast that he wants to do, this big meeting that is very, 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 very rare, which is why people were like, wait, are we going to go to war? No. He's just going to give a little speech.
Has it even happened
A pep
before?
rally about warrior ethos. Has what?
Has it happened before? Calling all of these tops, removing them from their posts around the world. Like, very, very rare, I think is fair to say, but I don't know that anything like this has happened before.
Can the guys on the nuclear submarines that are just like constantly on patrol, do they get to call? They can zoom in, right?
Well, they'll download it from Pocket Cast later. They do.
Were they specific?
They subscribe
wherever you get
to
your Warrior Ethos pep rally speeches, wherever you get your fascist.
I just need to say, we have the technology. Always, people aren't expected to fly across the world to go to a meeting. We have very secure telecommunication.
Well, they do. If you're a fascist nation with a Department of War and you're itching to give a loyalty test to every single general admiral in the military and hint at the fact that, well, so you know how we're sending troops to American cities? Well, you're going to have to do some things you might not like. And we're going to ask you to have a warrior ethos, which is to do what you're told, don't ask questions, and do your duty, basically, is what it's going to be. And whether maybe they won't get rid of people who are like, wait a second. But the whole point of this is to...
Right, a loyalty test.
Hint a loyalty test, and to introduce the idea that, well, you might have to shoot some civilians.
You're taking the top officials out of places they've been stationed in, and that creates all sorts of chaos. It feels like a national security threat.
No, it's good. We're pulling out all the
extremely expensive stunt, an extremely expensive set for an administration that would like us to save money. This September, or in the September that just ended, depending on when you're watching or listening, CBS hits are streaming free on Pluto TV. And if it's not September anymore, I don't know, who cares? They're probably still there, I bet. On Pluto TV, you can watch full seasons of the CBS shows you love, from the courtroom drama of Matlock to the heroics of Fire Country, from the genre-bending underwater thrills of Operation Pufferfish to the heartwarming holiday product placements of Christmas with the Triscuits. Go back to where it all began in NCIS Origins, or watch the hilarious Hauntings of Ghosts from the 8-part docuseries bladder hunters to the classic infomercial spinoff Floby, the animated series. From the historical biopic Sign Your Name, the John Hancock story, to the 80s musical jaunt Sign Your Name, the Terrence Trent D'Arby story. All for free. Full seasons of the CBS shows you love. This month only. Maybe. On Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Donald Trump said Portland is war-ravaged, and at the request of Kristi Noem, he is directing Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing full force, if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Terrifying. And then appeared to soften that stance a little bit the next day. He had a phone call he said, well, I'm looking at it. You can't have people attacking federal buildings. But then Trump said he spoke to the governor of Oregon. She was very nice. But I said, well, wait a minute. Am I watching things on television that are different from what's happening? My people tell me different. They are literally attacking, and there are fires all over the place. It looks like terrible.
It looks like terrible.
He is like, my people might be wrong that Portland is war-ravaged. I talked to the super nice governor of Oregon, and she says there's no problem at all. Who's to say what's happening?
I didn't know he said that. That's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotta go. He's gotta quit. he's gotta quit his job. Oh, yeah, maybe you are only watching TV. Maybe you're watching bad TV. Turn the TV off. Be the president. Stop doing, or don't, because we don't want you to be the president. Just log off. Turn the TV off. Go. Just sleep. Just go to sleep.
He knows what we're doing. Like, Stephen Miller must go up to him and say, what do you mean you might be wrong? And she says it's fine. And he's like, oh, well, the governor was very nice. And Stephen Miller, no. We're doing a process here. There's the plan. Remember the plan?
Unless that's just something he said. I mean, like, there's also a world he's like, I don't know, that's sarcastic or something, I suppose.
There's a world where he's just saying stuff and trying to soften it and then still doing it, all that stuff. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying, like, who is to get a grasp on when their city might be invaded by the U.S. military? If he's like, maybe I'll do it. I don't know.
Well, it depends on what I see on TV that day. Or not. It depends on a phone call. Depends on, if Stephen Miller's right next to me or down the hall. Who knows?
It is
bad,
terrifying, bad, especially in conjunction with what we've just talked about. These terrorist designations, these labeling, trying to say that, Rose City Antifa, aka Soros Antifa. But you can just, we don't know what Antifa is. Antifa means anti-fascist, but you're just going to use that label to pin on anybody. These are people trying to protect innocents from being deported, from being rounded up, from being disappeared. Again, this is happening every day. People that have done nothing wrong, doing everything right, trying to work their way through our system, being disappeared. We don't know where they are.
And they're tying it to, this obviously, and any spectacle they can make, but also just protest generally. That's why that list is so vague. Mm-hmm. That's why it's anything. It's just dissent, any protest. We'll see that more and more people are saying.
Maybe he's going to back off because I don't know if he wants to pick a fight with Portland. I think if he wants things to, pop off and okay, this is our chance to see if we can shoot people, Portland's the place to make it happen, right? They're not going to back down. They're going to be out in the streets. But also, we've now seen in multiple cities, National Guard gets deployed. They have nothing to do. They stand around on their phones. They pick up trash. Trump declares victory and leaves. I bet half of the people in LA did not even know it was going on when it was going on here. So it could also just do that again, where he'll send the National Guard. They'll stand around. The end. I don't know what he wants to keep accomplishing. It seems like there's a specific bunch of things that would have to happen in order for Stephen Miller to have the success that he wants. Mm-hmm. And even if what he wants to happen happens, I'm not sure it's going to work out that well for him.
Well, I don't know what I think ultimately what matters to him right now is putting on a big show and because everything is such a soup, because it moves so fast, and then he does this, and then he does another thing, and they do this and this and this, and we can't keep up. It's impossible. He's concerned that's a headline for his supporters and they're like, good, he's sending them in. And that's the end of the story. They don't want a follow-up. They don't care about a follow-up. Maybe down the line, this manifests in such a way that it blows up in his face. Down the line, we'll see data that's this cost X amount of dollars and did zero. Maybe we'll have reporting on that. But right now, in the heat of it, I think all that matters is the headline. All that matters is them retweeting it and being like, yeah, that's our guy, our tough president.
Oh, yeah. It's just locking down the narrative, spreading that as much as they can. I think the Portland deployment is 60 days. First, what a waste of time and money, and what a dangerous thing to do. But yeah, they just need the narrative to continue, and if the thing happens that they really want then they'll do the thing that they want to do, or they'll move on. I guess move on to the next city and see if it happens there. It's really, it's just like that mix of like, Stephen Miller wants to do all the things and he's got his president plan, and Trump is like, sure, but also I'm tired and I'm old, and like I watch the news and I'm like a New York real estate guy, so if I get on the phone with somebody and they're nice to me, I'm gonna be like, okay. And like that's how he is as a person too.
Well, like they're running the like authoritarian playbook, the descent into authoritarian playbook, but like just calling plays at random.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a mess.
It's disorienting. Like it's obviously they're very successful,
which is part
in making
of it too.
Disorienting. Also, Orban and Putin were way more popular when they did it, and way younger.
Yeah.
Than a 79-year-old man who's sending out AI videos of himself that he might think is real. We don't need to talk about that.
He wants that. He wants that med bed. He'll fix him up right.
Did he think he said the AI thing? Is he like...
I think there are more important things to get into, but that was wild. He retweeted an AI video of himself talking about med beds, a QAnon conspiracy that technology exists that you can just lay in this fucking device and it'll cure you of all that ails you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Elysium.
He retweeted that.
It's from Elysium.
Presumably
it's from the movie Elysium.
The film with Matt Damon?
The film with
Matt Damon. Presumably thinking he did in fact say that. I don't know why he retweeted it. It's been deleted. Before we go, though, I do think we should at least talk about Comey. I just love it when huge news breaks right after we're done recording. It's just recording.
As I'm sure it will today and every 100%. Day thereafter.
Yeah.
So, on Thursday afternoon, Trump's Department of Justice indicted James Comey, the former FBI director who may have helped Trump become president.
The guy
the
who
time.
won him the election. Come on, guys.
He's been charged with lying under oath. Here's what they're saying he did. That in 2020, that he was testifying to the Senate or Senate committee about stuff that had happened a few years earlier, and they asked him if he authorized his deputy, Andrew McCabe, to leak information to the Wall Street Journal, and that he says, no, I didn't, but afterwards he asked me about it and I said no. And Andrew McCabe, who's also been accused of lying to the committees, said, no, I didn't ask him about it beforehand. I asked him afterwards if it was okay, and he said yes. That's the thing they want to send him to jail for, that like Stephen Miller called like one of the most like absurd treason whatever.
Yeah, he wants to execute him publicly or whatever. Yeah.
Like it's almost Hunter Biden-ish in the sense of like, wait, what are you guys saying that happened? Anyway, he got what he wanted. James Comey's been indicted by his new U.S. District Attorney Lindsay Halligan, who apparently does not know what she's doing because she gave two different signed indictments to the judge, and the judge is like, why do I have these two? One has just the two indictments, and one has the two indictments, and then the one count that the grand jury refused to bring charges on, and you sign them both, and she's like, nah.
Well, she's not a practicing lawyer, right? She's like a lawyer for like insurance, but she's never actually tried a case.
Yeah, you saying she doesn't really know what she's doing is the most charitable way of saying it.
Yeah, no, she is the person who agreed to do the thing that the other guy wouldn't do, which is bring ridiculous charges against people for nothing. Like, you know, not that we've ever been the James Comey Defender podcast. We can rebrand as that if it's lucrative, but
JCDP.
Comey, she wrote. Sorry.
Comey, we're
Comey,
writing.
Saying, yeah.
No, this is a very silly thing that is, again, like has to go through like a process, a court process, a jury. The judge can make a decision to just throw this thing out for being silly and then, I guess, get targeted by...
Activist judges. Sorry, can't do that.
Get targeted if they care about this. I don't know if MAGA cares about this.
Yeah, it's one of those... I think they do in a sense, but it's that, you know, that truth that Trump sent out that was probably supposed to be a DM, right? Where it's like, you gotta... My enemies... Why aren't you indicting my enemies? Come on!
What are you doing? It's making me look bad.
And so, like, this is like one that they're able to do now. Again, it's for the show. It's for the narrative to keep it along. Also, with Comey specifically, as we alluded to earlier, he's kind of the guy that won Trump the election in 2016.
Yeah, he's a wet noodle.
So
by reopening the Hillary Clinton email investigation 2 weeks before the election, which then became a huge... The media didn't help by pretending it was a big deal.
In an attempt to try to be nonpartisan or something, to make it look like you're not putting the thumb on the scales in any direction. It's
bad job,
just
Jim.
Fucking terrible. But also, that blew up in your face, didn't it? Yeah,
you were. I mean, he was fired almost right away. Remember when that was like when that happened? And we were like, wait, you can just do. He just fired the FBI head director who's like investigating him for crimes.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Those simple innocent days of Trump term 1.
The Hillary James Comey This Is Not Normal hour. We're rebranding. It's a 2017 podcast now.
It's still true though. It's not normal. But my point is, Comey is a divisive figure, and they've done this before. They do this a lot. I mean, Portland is a good example. Not in the same way, actually. Comey is a figure that the left doesn't super care about in a passionate way. Like with who else was Bolton? Nobody cares about John Bolton. Who cares? Go ahead. And so there's this sort of line of people that they're going towards first. There's a long list. Well, if we start with John Bolton, if we go after Comey, they're not going to care as much. They might care because this is not normal and this is blah, blah, blah. But like, it's not going to be this passionate big thing of like, no, don't go after our guys. So you whittle down the normalcy of doing this, and eventually they go to people who are maybe like Obama, you know, like they're doing the Comeys now because people aren't going to care as much, so that it's normalized, so that when they go after bigger fish, then people are more okay with it. It's like, oh yeah, they do this all the time. They indict this person, they indict this person. We didn't care what is Bolton or Comey, but now they're doing more and more people. Is why Comey is the first one. It's one of the reasons.
Yeah. James Comey, watch him. He's a comer.
He's a comer. Oh, can
we do that?
Comer.
We can, and we will.
You just did.
We did.
We can make AI Trump say it, so it can just be incorporated
and he'll think he did.
In all the videos. We got to wrap up soon, but Cody, do you want to talk about some of this January 6th stuff real quick?
I do. We're talking about the FBI. We're talking about locking in the narrative. We're talking about this is all related. Over the weekend, there was a bombshell report that I'm pretty sure had already been out already about this. Basically saying, and I'm going to paraphrase the headlines, because the headlines said that 274 FBI agents were embedded in the January 6th crowd. That's what the headline said. And the narrative began to form. And if you, I don't know, like...
We only read headlines, folks.
If you decide to read instead the article about this, I'm just going to read it. The document has proven a bombshell to lawmakers, revealing for the first time that the FBI had a total of 274 agents deployed to the Capitol in plainclothes and with guns after the violence started, but with no clear safety gear or way to be recognized by other law enforcement, et cetera, and so forth. So that was a lie.
So
the
you mean
narrative
they didn't plan and instigate January 6th?
No, the 274 FBI agents did not embed themselves in the crowd before the riot broke out and convince everybody to start doing the riot. It was after the fact because it was overwhelming and they needed people to take care of the riot. Instantly, as soon as these articles started popping off, obviously like Donald Trump Jr., of course, and then all the other major players, Elon and his little Nazi crowd, and everybody was like, wow, it was planned all along. First of all, by whose FBI? Who was in office at the time? What are you talking about?
It's the deep state, though. It's the deep state. They were subverting the president.
Of course.
Said peacefully, I think, is the only thing he said.
At one point, he said
they were
peacefully.
subverting the president that wanted them to go do this. You're right.
Devil's advocate, he said peacefully, hang Mike Pence. He didn't say hang Mike Pence. I know.
But he didn't say don't hang Mike Pence.
Well, he told his aides, who cares?
You know, potato. We're intact.
I didn't make that up,
Let's call
right?
the whole thing off.
Testified, Cassidy
I'm
Hutchinson
fairly certain he said,
testified
who cares?
that he's like, they're chanting hang Mike Pence, and he said, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's Melania being texted, like, do you want to send out a tweet that says protest is good, but violence isn't the answer? And she said, no. A single answer text, no. But the narrative had been locked in by then. It didn't matter. All these liars continued lying despite not reading the very, very clear information. Everybody was saying, no, if you read it, it says this. If you read it, it says this. They didn't care. They don't care. Then Kash Patel had to come out and basically say, like, that's not what it said. It didn't say that they were embedded. But I need to defend my little king prince, Mr. Donald Trump. But it was still like really, really bad and they shouldn't have done it. And like, I guess we got to fire everybody or hang them for treason. I don't know.
They shouldn't have tried to stop the riot.
Yeah, I think the idea is that like, because the report was basically like all these agents sort of complaining like, yeah, we didn't have gear. We weren't really prepared for this. It was like, we just didn't know what to do, which I understand, but it is an emergency. This has never happened before. It's never happened before. So you gotta go with the wind. You gotta do stuff that's never happened before.
I'll be honest. One of my first thoughts about it was like, I could see an argument of not, because you're specifically targeting law enforcement officers. I mean, like, go in there and try to end
take care of
this
it instead of But then you have law enforcement officers not being able to identify them and stuff.
Fair.
So
that's a mess.
It's just one of those frustrating things where, like, I saw it happen in real time. I saw, like, the initial reports from, like, the Mike Benz or whoever, all the fucking liars out there. And I was like, well, that sounds like a misinterpretation. And so I read it, and it was. And then, for an entire day, I'm like, you're lying. This is lying. All pointing out to all the people posting about it. You're lying. Just read it. Read this. And then finally, Kash Patel came out, the hero that he is, and said it's not true, but it's bad in another way. So really, you can just say whatever.
Breached FBI protocol to send people there.
Okay. I'm not sure what FBI protocol is on tweeting things that aren't true during the middle of an investigation. What's the protocol on that?
Yeah, it's just frustrating. They're doing it again. They did it again yesterday. The Nazi crowd, the Elons, started sharing this screenshot of the ADL's website, their entry on Christian identity. And the very first sentence was shared, which is Christian identity is a religious ideology popular in extreme right-wing circles. And the claim is that the ADL hates Christians and hates Christianity. But again, if you keep reading, it explains how those aren't the same thing. And it explains it, and they're lying on purpose. They're cutting off the actual explanation to say that they hate Christians and they hate Christianity to maybe some ends. Maybe they have a goal. Maybe there's a reason behind that. I'm not going to.
People hate it when you take quotes out of context.
Oh, they hate it. I thought we all learned our lesson on that.
I have a quick correction.
Okay.
My quick correction is when Donald Trump was told that the vice president's life was in danger during January 6th. I said, he said, who cares? It turns out what he allegedly said was, so what? And he deserves it.
Ooh, worse. That's worse.
I just didn't want that to get out there without me
thank you.
getting the record.
Thank you.
The first half, I was like, oh, so he was more or less the same. No, it was worse.
Yeah,
it was worse.
So what? And he said the word hang a bunch of times, apparently, and deserves it.
He's got to quit. You got to quit,
Quit
man.
your job, sir.
I don't think he's listening to you, Cody. Go on Fox News and tell him he needs to quit. Maybe that'll work.
I can't. They don't want me on because I'm going to throw up on Jesse Waters.
I know. We're going to need to give you some anti-nausea medication before you enter that studio. Okay, we did it. We arrived at the end of our program. I feel great. I feel like really good. I'm done talking, but not before I say...
What?
We love you very much.
Much.